Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Platform Times. The major story here says federal government dismisses Coup scare allegations, condemns disinformation campaign. And the picture there is that of the NLC protest yesterday, where Ajero asserts NLC protest driven by hunger, not just minimum wage concerns. And another story here, businessman petitions Inspector General of Police over alleged defamation by renowned Nigerian journalists. And then another story, some protesters working for political agenda. Ngelale alleges, that's Ajuri, the spokesman to the president, saying their food prices rise in January 2024. NBS is saying, inaugurates court-martial to try personnel for murder or other crimes. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Platform Times. To the Punch newspaper, presidency alleges political agenda as protests hit states, and the writers there, no unanimity in protests. Some people leveraging current situation for political gain, says presidential aide. Police share biscuits, water at Lagos protests. NLC urges Tinubu to end extreme hardship, food crisis. And the picture there depicting the protest across some states. So we have that of Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, the Sea of Heads there, talking about the level of persons who turned out for the protest. And at the downstream, federal government completes $700 million gas pipeline in March after 8 years. 3 bodies recovered, 11 rescued as Lagos boat capsizes. Sad one there. Now, Senate to probe Ajakuta Steel over $496 million payment. And interest rate hike, private sector economists foresee fresh job losses, recession. CBN clears $400 million debt, plans stop sanctions for banks to tackle excess money supply. Some stories you find on the front page of the Punch newspaper. To the Leadership newspaper now, a major story here, hardship, labor protests, ground states. NLC suspend protests, gives federal government fresh 14-day ultimatum. Lawmakers recommend food stamps to ease ordeal. Falana seeks social security bill. Again, the pictures there of the protests across Lagos, Abuja, and Kaduna states. And quickly, another story, CBN unveils aggressive monetary overhaul. And 7 die as UB records 214 meningitis cases. A story you might be interested in reading. Gunmen killed Nasarawa village head, 28 others. A really sad one there. To this Nigerian newspaper, the major story, hardship and suspend nationwide protest, says objective has been achieved as workers in Sokoto, Osun, Edo, Federal Capital Territory, other states join rallies. Drama as police provide water, soft drinks, biscuits for Lagos protesters. And Tinubu launches the expatriate employment levy, once against wage gap between expat Nigerians. And some of the stories you find on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. To the First News newspaper now, NLC suspends protest, gives federal government March the 13th ultimatum after workers' rallies paralyze businesses in Lagos, Abuja, Oyo, Osun. Other state protests unnecessary, says presidential spokesperson Ngelale. And economic hardship, Tinubu pledges to protect worst-hit Nigerians, says subsidy removal has attracted private participation. Assistant priest kills, burns boss's corpse on altar in Osun. Sad one there. And then this report, fake coup plot report, won't distract, intimidate us, federal government is saying. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the First News newspaper. To the Salient Times now, NLC suspends protest, gives fresh 14-day ultimatum, partial compliance as NLC holds nationwide protest over economic hardship, protest against hunger, needless presidential spokesman. And Senate plans 6-year tenure for CBN governor, 1 trillion recapitalization for banks. Man kills son over food in Abia. And a really sad development. Some stories you find on the front page of the Salient Times. Quickly now to Vanguard newspaper. NLC gives 17-point demand to Tinubu suspends protest. And to the Daily Independent, NLC criticizes federal government policies, wants return of Nigeria to better days, asks federal government to fix refineries, restore industrial hubs, wants federal government to reject anti-people IMF World Bank policies, subsidies for farmers to boost agri production, food security. Some stories you find there on the front page of the Daily Independent. Kemi.
Next is the New Telegraph newspaper. Of course, still dealing with the aftermath of the nationwide protests embarked upon by Labour on Tuesday. Lead story is captioned Hardship Protests. NLC tells FG restore industrial hubs, palliatives to farmers, fix refineries. And in other stories on the New Telegraph, calling for Uzodima's removal as Progressive Governors Forum Chair against Southeast interests. That's according to the National Vice Chair. Senate proposes 6-year single term for CBN Governor. Reps hold takeoff of revised guidelines for nurses and midwives. And the Deputy Speaker is quoted as saying, "We will adjust our salary if necessary." In Benue State, Governor Alia floats 2 judicial commissions of inquiry to probe his predecessor's 8-year tenure. All right, the nation is next. Economy will get better. Tinubu assures Nigerian Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, that's at the House of Representatives, urges patience with government. And regarding the economy, borrowers from banks to pay more as CBN raises interest rate to 22.75%. CBN also in the news again, allocating dollar to BDCs at 1,301 naira to the dollars, just as 785 operators get $13.7 million. NLC protesters in peaceful march over reform pains, workers' rights president protests suspended, and Senate to streamline CBN's overdrafts to federal government. On the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, as we see next, CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso is quoted as saying how 10 trillion intervention funds by previous administrations damaged Nigeria's economy as CBN raises benchmark interest rates to record 22.75%. In the meantime, forensic analysis fingers $2.4 billion false forex claims. And in other stories, police army foil kidnap attempt in Katsina, rescue 10 victims on health. Meningitis plague hits Yobe State, kill 22 students. We check out the Business Times now. Big story there reads, on MPC, that's the Monetary Policy Committee, why the monetary policy rate was raised by 400 basis points. CBN Governor Cardoso profers reasons, says the Naira is grossly undervalued. MPC outcome in a reaction to hurt real sector. That's according to economist Muda Yusuf. Financial expert Professor Wale K is also saying that the latest MPC decision is an overkill. You can get details there from the Business Times. In the meantime, WTO DG, that's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, seeks proper regulatory environment for power sector. Let's move on now to Business Day, which says Naira strengthens as CBN moves to stabilize economy, raises MPR to 22.75%, as well as the CRR to 45%. And there is an analysis talking about what it calls the dark side of the Aba Power Project. Finally is Nature newspaper. Nature News that is unveils initiative to plant 5 billion trees by 2030. But the big story there is on climate change, saying that energy transition imperatives for Nigeria, and this is a position as issued by the AFDB DG Barrow. Environment Ministry launched a national deratization exercise to combat spread of Lassa fever, and Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State, deploys tools for physical planning and urban development. Well, those are the stories in the papers this morning.
Right. And